Chosen ones, they never thought you would break all the shackles of struggle and reach this point. But now you stand on the threshold of something so extraordinary that even those who once doubted you will be left speechless. From the very beginning, there was a whisper. You may not have known what it meant, but you felt it deep in your soul, a pull towards something great, something extraordinary. This was your calling. Along the way, the world tested you. People doubted you. At times, you doubted yourself. The path was not easy. There were obstacles you did not expect, obstacles that seemed impossible to overcome. Now the stars have aligned. In this moment you see it clearly. The purpose of every struggle, every sacrifice, every step of your journey. The mission that was whispering in your soul has been accomplished, and it did not happen by chance. You always had to reach this point. Challenges, doubts, loneliness, these were all part of your story, and now they make sense. This is the moment you were always preparing for. Now that you have completed that mission, before the universe plunges you into deep transformation, share your energy with the universe by subscribing to the channel. And type 999 in the comment. By doing so, you are broadcasting a powerful message to the universe. The calling. From the very start, there was a feeling, something you couldn't quite put into words, but it was there, deep inside you. It wasn't loud or obvious, more like a soft whisper, a quiet nudge, gently pushing you in a direction you didn't fully understand. You might not have known exactly what it was, but it felt important, as if you were being guided towards something that was bigger than yourself. This feeling wasn't a thought in your mind, but more like a sensation in your soul. It was your calling. At first, it may have felt confusing. Life can be full of noise and distractions, and with so many people telling you what to do, it can be hard to hear that quiet inner voice. Maybe you felt lost at times, unsure of what path to take, but still that pull remained. Even though you couldn't always explain it, you trusted it, and that's where the magic began. This inner calling might not have made sense to others. They couldn't see what you saw or feel what you felt. But despite that, you kept moving forward, knowing there was something meaningful ahead, something only you could discover. Think of it as a guiding star. Sometimes it was faint and far away, but it was always there, giving you direction when you felt uncertain. You might have faced moments where the path ahead looked dark or unclear, but that star, the whisper of your calling, never completely disappeared. In fact, the harder the journey became, the more important it was to listen to that inner guidance. The calling was a part of you, woven into the very fabric of your being. It wasn't something external you could see or touch. It was a mission planted in your heart, waiting for the right moment to bloom. Others around you may have had different plans for you. Maybe they wanted you to take a safer route, follow a more predictable life path, or do something that didn't resonate with your heart. At times, it could have felt frustrating to try to explain this inner urge to people who couldn't understand. How could you make them see what you were feeling? You couldn't, and that's okay. It wasn't their calling, it was yours. Following your calling wasn't about having all the answers from the start. In fact, you might have begun your journey without knowing exactly where it would lead. There were likely twists and turns, moments of doubt, and even some failures along the way. But each of those experiences was part of the process, helping you grow, learn, and get closer to your purpose. The calling was like a compass inside of you, always pulling you back on track when you wandered too far off course. And as you moved forward, step by step, things started to make more sense. The challenges you faced, the lessons you learned, they were all shaping you, helping you become the person you needed to be in order to fulfill your mission. It wasn't always clear in the beginning, but now you can see how every experience, even the tough ones, played a role in getting you to where you are today. This calling was never about fitting in or following the crowd. It was about stepping into your true self, embracing the unique journey that was meant for you. No one else could hear the whisper the way you could. No one else could walk your path or fulfill the purpose that was placed in your heart. That's why you had to trust it, even when it didn't make sense to anyone else. Now, looking back, you can see that the calling was always there, waiting for you to be ready. It was patient, never forcing you, but gently guiding you towards something greater. And now you've reached a point where the purpose behind that whisper is becoming clear. You followed it when others couldn't see, and because of that, you've arrived exactly where you were always meant to be. The doubts. Doubt is something we all face, especially when we're trying to do something meaningful or step into the unknown. Along the way, as you pursued your journey, the world threw challenges your way. It wasn't always smooth sailing. In fact, it was often anything but easy. There were moments when it seemed like everything was stacked against you. People around you questioned your choices, raised their eyebrows and asked, "Are you sure about this? Is this really what you should be doing?" It's hard when others don't believe in you, especially when they are people you care about. Their doubts can become loud and overwhelming, making you second-guess your own decisions. But it wasn't just other people. There were times when your own mind turned against you. You began to wonder if you were capable, if you were really on the right path. Doubts crept in, whispering that maybe you weren't strong enough, smart enough, or simply good enough to see this journey through. You might have felt like giving up, wondering if it was worth the struggle. Every step forward sometimes seemed to come with 2 steps back, and in those moments the road ahead looked impossibly long. The obstacles you faced weren't just small bumps in the road. They felt like massive walls, blocking your progress. These were challenges you didn't see coming, things that made you stop in your tracks and question whether or not you should continue. Sometimes it felt like the universe was testing you, asking, "How badly do you really want this? Are you willing to keep going, even when it feels like the odds are against you?" It's in these moments, when doubt is loudest, that many people give up. They turn back, deciding that the struggle is too much to bear. But something within you refused to give in. Even when the world seemed to be telling you to stop, a small, steady voice inside whispered, "Keep going." That voice, your inner compass, was stronger than the doubt, even if it didn't always feel like it at the time. It reminded you of why you started in the first place, why this journey mattered so much to you. Doubt is tricky because it feels real. It tells you stories about failure, about how hard things are, about why you should quit. But just because it feels real doesn't mean it's true. You knew that deep down. And while the doubts didn't disappear overnight, you learned to move forward despite them. Each time you faced a setback or an unexpected challenge, you proved to yourself that you could keep going, that doubt didn't have to define you or stop you from reaching your goal. Persistence is key. When others said, "You can't do this," or when that voice in your head whispered, "You're not enough," you kept pushing forward. It wasn't because you were fearless or never doubted yourself. It was because you understood that doubt is a natural part of the journey. It shows up when we're on the verge of something big, testing our resolve and making us question our worth. But you realize that doubts are just thoughts, not facts. And they don't have the power to stop you unless you let them. You chose not to let them. You chose to trust in yourself, to trust that inner voice that told you to keep moving, even when the road seemed impossibly hard. That choice, again and again, is what got you through. The doubts were loud, but your belief in yourself, however small it may have felt at times, was louder. And now, looking back, you can see that every step forward, even the smallest ones, was a victory over doubt. You persisted when it would have been easier to quit, and that persistence is what has brought you to where you are today. The struggle. Struggle is an inevitable part of any meaningful journey, especially for those destined for something greater. Every chosen one, no matter how strong or gifted, faces challenges that test their limits. The struggles you went through weren't just random obstacles thrown in your way. They were essential parts of your growth, shaping and refining you into the person you needed to become. Without them, you wouldn't be as strong, resilient, or capable as you are now. It may not have felt that way while you were in the middle of the hardship, but looking back, you can see how each challenge was preparing you for this exact moment. The battles you faced came from both the outside world and within yourself. Outwardly, you encountered situations that seemed impossible to overcome. There were people, circumstances, and events that stood in your way, making it feel like the universe was conspiring against you at times. Maybe you faced rejection, failure, or betrayal. These external battles made you question whether or not you had the strength to continue, and they certainly weren't easy to get through. But the battles inside you were often even harder. Fear, insecurity, and uncertainty were your constant companions. They whispered doubts into your ear, made you question your own abilities, and filled your heart with hesitation. You wrestled with the fear of failure, the insecurity of not being good enough, and the uncertainty of not knowing what the future held. These inner struggles were painful, and they could have easily paralyzed you, stopping you from moving forward. Yet, despite the overwhelming weight of these emotions, you continued to push through. In moments of defeat, it might have felt like you had lost, like the struggle had won. But each defeat brought with it a valuable lesson. Failure wasn't the end, it was a stepping stone. Every time you stumbled, you learned something new about yourself, about the world, and about what it took to keep going. Each setback became a teacher, showing you what you needed to improve or rethink. Even in the darkest times, when the pain was at its peak, you were learning. And with each lesson, you grew stronger. Pain has a way of uncovering things within us that we didn't even know were there. In every moment of struggle, you found a new layer of resilience, a strength you didn't realize you had. It's often said that we don't know how strong we are until being strong is the only choice we have. This was true for you. The struggles you faced didn't break you, though it might have felt like they were going to at times. Instead, they built you up, layer by layer, making you more capable and more determined. Each struggle you endured served a purpose. They weren't in vain. Without them, you wouldn't have developed the endurance, the perseverance, and the wisdom that you now carry with you. These struggles were necessary steps on your path. They were the fires that forged you, transforming you into the person you are today. Without facing hardship, you wouldn't be ready for the responsibilities and challenges that come with fulfilling your purpose. The pain you experienced wasn't a detour from your journey, it was the path itself. As difficult as the struggles were, they have brought you to a place of greater strength and clarity. Now, as you stand on the other side of them, you can see how vital they were to your growth. They prepared you for this moment, for the opportunities that lie ahead. You wrestled with your fears, battled your insecurities, and survived the uncertainty. And because of that, you're stronger, wiser, and more capable than ever before. The struggles you faced were not just challenges to overcome, they were milestones in your transformation. Each hardship you endured was a chapter in your story, one that has led you here, ready to step into the greatness that was always meant for you. The sacrifices. Sacrifice is a word that carries a lot of weight, especially when you're on a journey towards something meaningful. To reach where you are now, you had to let go of things that once mattered to you. This wasn't easy. It required you to make choices that pulled you away from comfort and familiarity. Some of these sacrifices were obvious, like giving up certain comforts or letting go of old habits that no longer served you. But others were harder to face, like distancing yourself from friendships or even abandoning dreams that had been part of your identity for so long. At first, these sacrifices probably felt like losses. Letting go is always hard, especially when you're unsure of what you're gaining in return. You may have felt torn between holding on to what was safe and familiar and stepping into the unknown, where the rewards weren't guaranteed. Old friendships, for example, might have been a source of joy and comfort in your life. But as you grew and evolved, it became clear that some people weren't meant to travel this path with you. Maybe they couldn't understand your vision or didn't support the direction you were headed. Letting them go wasn't about abandoning them, it was about recognizing that not everyone is meant to walk the same journey. Comfort, too, had to be left behind. There were times when you had to step out of your comfort zone, pushing yourself into uncomfortable, even painful situations, because you knew they were necessary for growth. Old habits that once felt cozy and reassuring became barriers to your progress. Whether it was procrastination, self-doubt, or unhealthy routines, these habits no longer aligned with the person you were becoming. Letting them go wasn't easy. It often felt like losing a part of yourself. But deep down, you knew that in order to move forward, you had to release what was holding you back. Some of the hardest sacrifices you made were the dreams you had to let go of. These weren't small or insignificant dreams. They were visions you had carried with you for a long time, perhaps even since childhood. But as your journey unfolded, you realized that these dreams no longer aligned with your true mission. Maybe they were dreams you once thought would bring you happiness or success, but over time they started to feel like a distraction. It was heartbreaking to let them go because they had been a part of your identity for so long. You wondered if giving them up was the right choice or if you were making a mistake. But now, standing here, you see that every sacrifice was necessary. The sacrifices you made weren't just about giving things up. They were about creating space for what was truly meant for you. By letting go of the old, you made room for the new. You freed yourself from the weight of things that no longer served you, and in doing so, you opened up possibilities that wouldn't have been available otherwise. The friendships that remain are stronger and more supportive because they are aligned with your true self. The new habits you've built are helping you grow and thrive, and the dreams you've chosen to pursue now feel more authentic, more aligned with the person you are today. In the moments of sacrifice, it was natural to question whether it was all worth it. The discomfort, the loneliness, the uncertainty, it all weighed heavily on your heart. But now, standing here, you can see that each sacrifice was a crucial part of your evolution. These weren't losses. They were transformations. What you gave up wasn't taken from you. It was released so that you could become the person you were meant to be. Each sacrifice brought you closer to your true purpose, shaping you into someone who is ready to embrace the opportunities and challenges that lie ahead. Sacrifice is never easy, but it is often necessary. It is through sacrifice that you shed the old and make space for the new. It was never about giving up. It was about making room for what was truly meant for you. And now, as you stand here, you can look back and see that each difficult decision, each moment of doubt, was part of a larger plan, one that has led you exactly where you were always meant to be. The sacrifices weren't in vain, they were stepping stones to your evolution, and because of them, you are ready for whatever comes next. The isolation. Being a chosen one often comes with a sense of isolation. It's not that you wanted to be alone or that you didn't appreciate the company of others, but your journey was unique, and not everyone could walk it with you. There were times when you felt like no one understood what you were going through. People around you might not have seen the vision you carried inside, or they might have questioned your choices, not realizing the bigger picture that was slowly taking shape. This sense of being misunderstood can be incredibly lonely, especially when you long for connection and support. Isolation can feel heavy. It's not just about being physically alone, but also feeling emotionally and mentally distant from others. You may have found yourself in situations where you couldn't share your thoughts or dreams with the people around you because they wouldn't understand. Or worse, they might try to dissuade you from following your path, urging you to take a safer or more conventional route. In those moments, it might have felt like the weight of your mission was entirely on your shoulders, and there was no one to help carry the burden. But what you came to realize over time is that this solitude wasn't a punishment, it was preparation. The isolation gave you something precious: time to strengthen your connection with yourself. Without the constant noise and influence of others, you were able to hear your own inner voice more clearly. You learned to trust your instincts and to rely on your own judgment, rather than seeking validation or approval from the outside world. This process wasn't easy, but it was necessary. Through solitude, you developed a deeper understanding of who you are and what you truly want. In this space of isolation, you also had the opportunity to become unwavering in your mission. Without the distractions of other people's opinions, you could focus fully on your purpose. You may have faced doubts or fears, but the time alone allowed you to confront those feelings head-on. Rather than running from the discomfort, you had no choice but to sit with it, to wrestle with your uncertainties until you emerged stronger and more certain of your path. The solitude gave you a chance to refine your vision, to sharpen your focus, and to commit fully to your mission, no matter how challenging it might be. At times, it might have felt like the loneliness was too much to bear. Humans are social creatures, and it's natural to crave connection, support, and companionship. But in this isolation, you found something even more valuable: self-reliance. You discovered that you didn't need others to validate your journey. You didn't need anyone else to believe in your dreams because you believed in them. This inner strength, born out of solitude, became one of your greatest assets. It allowed you to keep going when others might have quit, to hold on to your vision even when no one else could see it. What once felt like isolation was, in truth, a form of preparation. It was preparing you for the moment when you would emerge, stronger and more focused than ever before, ready to claim your destiny. The time spent in solitude gave you the space to grow into the person you needed to be in order to fulfill your mission. It wasn't easy, and there were certainly moments when the loneliness felt overwhelming. But now you can see that it was all part of the process. The isolation allowed you to become unshakable in your purpose, to stand firm in your truth, and to trust yourself completely. Now, as you stand at the threshold of something extraordinary, you realize that the solitude was never meant to hold you back. It was a vital step in your journey. It gave you the strength to walk this path with confidence, knowing that you have everything you need within you. The isolation wasn't about being alone forever. It was about preparing you for the moment when you would step into the world, fully aligned with your mission and ready to embrace your destiny. And now, you are ready. The time in isolation has passed, and you have emerged, not only stronger but more certain than ever that you are exactly where you are meant to be. The moment of realization. There comes a point in every journey when everything clicks into place, when you look around and suddenly see the bigger picture in full view. All of the struggles, the sacrifices, the doubts, and the isolation that once seemed like burdens now reveal their purpose. It's as if the universe has been quietly guiding you all along, and in this moment you can finally see how each step, no matter how painful or confusing, was leading you exactly to where you are meant to be. It's a moment of clarity, of understanding, when everything you've been through finally makes sense. The purpose of every challenge becomes clear. You may have questioned why things were so hard at times. Maybe you wondered why the path seemed so difficult, or why it felt like the world was pushing back against you. But now, in this moment, you see that those struggles were never random. They were stepping stones. Each challenge you faced shaped you, tested you, and ultimately prepared you for this point. The strength you gained through those difficulties is what allowed you to stand here today, ready for what's to come. The sacrifices you made also reveal their deeper meaning. There were times when you let go of things you held dear, whether it was relationships, comforts, or dreams you once thought were your destiny. You might have questioned those choices, wondering if you had made the right decision. But now, looking back, you understand why those sacrifices were necessary. They cleared the space for something more important. They allowed you to grow and evolve into the person who could fulfill your mission. What once felt like loss was actually transformation, shaping you into someone who could carry the weight of your purpose. And the isolation, the time you spent feeling alone, misunderstood and disconnected from others, now it all makes sense. At the time, it felt like you were walking this path by yourself, with no one who truly understood what you were going through. But in hindsight, that solitude was a gift. It gave you the space to strengthen your relationship with yourself, to build the inner resilience and self-trust you needed. The isolation wasn't a punishment, it was preparation, helping you develop the strength and clarity to stand tall in your truth when the time came. The doubts you experienced along the way also begin to fade into the background. In those moments of uncertainty, when you weren't sure if you could continue or if you were on the right path, you may have felt like giving up was your only option. But now you see that those doubts were part of the process. They were necessary to make you question, to dig deeper, and to refine your purpose. The fact that you overcame them is what makes this moment so powerful. You didn't give up, you kept going, and now the reward is here. This is the moment you've been preparing for all along. Every hardship, every lesson, and every experience led you to this point. You can feel the weight of everything you've been through, but instead of feeling heavy, it now feels like a powerful foundation beneath you. You have the strength, the clarity, and the purpose to move forward with confidence. The mission that once whispered in your soul has now been realized. And it wasn't by accident, it was always part of your destiny. Now as you stand here, you realize that all of the pieces have finally come together. The struggle, the sacrifice, the isolation, and the doubt. They were all chapters in your story, and they've led you to this moment of realization. You were always destined to reach this point, and now you're ready to step into your next chapter, fully aligned with your purpose and ready to embrace the future that awaits. The journey was never easy, but it was always worth it. And now you can see why. The impact. Standing at the edge of your extraordinary accomplishment, you begin to realize something powerful. Your success is not just about you. It's easy to think that reaching your goals is a personal victory, and it is. But it's also much more than that. The journey you've taken, the struggles you've overcome, and the mission you've fulfilled have created a ripple effect that extends far beyond your own life. Your success will inspire, uplift, and awaken others in ways you may not even fully understand yet. As you look back on your journey, you can see how it was never just about achieving a personal dream. It was about showing others what's possible. Every step you took, every sacrifice you made, and every challenge you faced were all part of something bigger. Your mission was never just meant for you, it was always meant to be a beacon for others. You didn't just walk this path for your own fulfillment. You walked it to show others that it's possible to overcome, to grow, and to reach for something greater than what they might have imagined for themselves. There were people who doubted you, who questioned your path, or who couldn't see the vision you were carrying. At times, their disbelief may have hurt you, or you may have even let it make you second-guess yourself. But now, as you stand here at the cusp of your accomplishment, you realize that their doubts were part of your story too. Because as you rise, those same people who once didn't understand you will now witness your triumph. And in that moment, something shifts for them. They will see the possibility in their own lives, the possibility of doing something they once thought was out of reach. Your success will serve as proof that no dream is too big, no challenge too overwhelming, and no journey too long. You will become living evidence that anything is possible when you stay true to your calling. But it's not just those who doubted you who will feel the impact of your journey. The people who always believed in you, the ones who supported you even when it seemed like the world was against you, will also see their faith validated. They stood by you even in moments when you couldn't see the way forward, and now their belief in you has been rewarded. Your success will be their triumph too, a testament to the power of faith, trust, and unconditional support. It will be a reminder to them that they were right to believe in you all along, and that their support played a crucial role in your journey. As you step into this new chapter of your life, you will see that you are not just a chosen one for yourself. You are a beacon for others. Your light will shine in ways you may never have imagined, lighting the way for others who are still on their own paths. You will inspire them to follow their inner calling, to trust their instincts, and to pursue their own dreams, no matter the obstacles. Your success will show them that their journey, no matter how challenging, is worth every step, every sacrifice, and every moment of doubt. Your story is no longer just yours. It belongs to everyone who has been touched by it. Those who doubted you, those who believed in you, and those who are still finding their way. You are now a living example of what's possible when we follow our true purpose, and your success will ripple out into the world, touching lives in ways you may never fully comprehend. You have become a beacon, not just for yourself, but for everyone who needs a little light to guide them on their own path. And that, in itself, is the true power of your mission. The new beginning. As you stand at the end of one chapter, it's important to remember that this is not the finish line. It's merely the beginning of something even greater. Yes, your mission has been accomplished, but in reality, it's only opened the door to the next phase of your journey. What you've achieved is significant, but it's not the final destination. This moment is the turning point where everything you've been through has prepared you for what's to come. You have evolved into someone stronger, wiser, and more resilient, and now the world is waiting to see what you will do next. The doubts that once plagued you, the ones that made you question whether you were capable of achieving your dreams, no longer have power over you. Those old voices of uncertainty, the ones that whispered in your ear and tried to hold you back, have been silenced by the strength you've gained on your journey. The person you were before the mission started is not the same person standing here today. You've faced countless obstacles, fought through moments of doubt and fear, and overcome struggles that at one point seemed impossible. Now those struggles have transformed you into someone who is unstoppable. You are no longer limited by the fears and doubts that once held you back. Instead, you have stepped into your power. You know who you are now, deeply, confidently, and without question. You've discovered your true strength, and with it, you know that you are capable of anything. The journey has taught you that no challenge is too great and no dream is too far out of reach. With every step you took, you proved to yourself that you have what it takes to rise above the obstacles life throws your way. You are no longer someone who doubts your worth or your purpose. You stand tall in the knowledge that you are exactly who you were meant to be, and you are capable of achieving everything you set your mind to. This new chapter is one where the possibilities are limitless. The world has opened up in front of you, and now you can move forward with confidence, knowing that there are no barriers too high for you to climb. You've already proven to yourself and to everyone around you that you are the chosen one. You've followed your calling through every hardship, and now the universe is ready to reward your determination with even greater opportunities. The journey ahead is filled with endless potential. With the foundation you've built, there's nothing standing in your way. You've shown yourself time and time again that you can rise above anything, and this next chapter will be no different. The road ahead may not always be smooth, but you now have the courage, the clarity, and the confidence to face whatever challenges come your way. You know that you have the strength to navigate any storm, and you understand that every new challenge is just another opportunity for growth. This is just the beginning, and you are ready. The world needs your light, your strength, and your vision, and now you are fully prepared to share it. You have proven that you are the chosen one, and the journey that once seemed uncertain is now filled with endless possibilities. The future is yours to create, and you are ready to step forward into the next chapter of your extraordinary life. So, stand tall, embrace this moment. Let it sink in. You have accomplished what you were always meant to. The mission was never about proving others wrong. It was about proving to yourself that you are capable of achieving greatness. You were chosen for this. And now your journey continues, stronger and more powerful than ever before.